These videotapes would first appear ordinary to the unsuspecting eye. However, as you continue to watch, it becomes abundantly clear that something is wrong.
We just killed Cassie. We just left her house. This is not a fucking joke.
I'm shaking.
I stabbed her in the throat and I saw her lifeless body just disappear. Dude, I just killed Cassie. Oh, fuck.
Only small snippets of the videotapes filmed by teen killers Brian Draper and Torey Adamcik have been available to the public until now. The majority of the following footage has never been seen before. These are the lost tapes of the Scream killers. Some sacrifices are demanded in the pursuit of darkness. Tonight, on Beyond the Crime, we expose one such sacrifice, the murder of Cassie Jo Stoddard. We're taking you inside a case that shocked Pocatello, Idaho, and sent ripples of fear across the nation. A high school student, a seemingly normal night, a remote house, and a plot ripped from the script of a horror film. Inspired by the movie Scream, two teenagers planned to make Cassie their first victim. We've combed through hundreds of pages of court documents and police records, meticulously reconstructing the events of that terrifying night. We'll expose the chilling details, the Death Stalker behavior, and the calculated cruelty that led to Cassie's brutal murder. Get ready to go beyond the crime. As of 2020, the smallish town of Pocatello has a population of a little over 56,000 people. It was officially founded in 1889 when thousands of pioneers and gold miners settled there. It is known to be a quiet, largely Mormon town in southwest Idaho. Let's wander back to 2006 together now. You like scary movies? Uh-huh. What's your favorite scary movie? Oh, I don't know. The Scream movie franchise was popular at the time, as it still is today, even though the first one was released in 1996, a full 10 years before Cassie's murder. Cassie was a 16-year-old straight-A student who attended Pocatello High School, along with her boyfriend of 5 months, Matt Beckham, and classmates Brian Draper and Torey Adamcik. The four of them all knew each other and were friends. Cassie was very pretty with long, flowing dark hair. One might say she was the whole package, beauty and brains. In a 2016 interview from the Idaho State Journal, Cassie's brother, Andrew Stoddard, states that his sister was really artistic with a love for both drawing and music, that she was a great role model to him, and that she was your typical teenage girl. Brian and Torey were obsessed with the Scream movies and other horror-related films. They were also into making their own videos, as Brian was often seen walking around school with his Sony camcorder, filming day-to-day interactions with Cassie, amongst other things. Brian and Torey eventually began to document themselves on video, talking about killing in general. It was revealed that they had a death list of potential victims, with Cassie being one of about a dozen students listed. Their initial broader ambition was to orchestrate a Columbine-style massacre, aiming to become more infamous than previous school shooters and serial killers.
The only thing that it's wrong about is because it's breaking the law, and the law is only wrong. The law
Natural selection, dude.
Because
Natural selection, that's all I gotta say.
there should be no law against killing people. I know it's a wrong thing, but
Natural selection.
hell.
That audio you just heard was from a videotape that was recovered later with other evidence used in the murder. Brian's counsel argued that this tape was actually part of a horror movie that he and Torey were in the process of creating. Check out this snippet from the video taped on September 21st, 2006, the night before Cassie's murder.
We found our victim, and sad as it may be, she's our friend. But you know what? We all have to make sacrifices. Our first victim is going to be Cassie Stoddard and her friends.
Turn your brights off, asshole.
Well, yeah, we'll find out if she has friends over. She's going to be alone in a big, dark house out in the middle of nowhere. How perfect can you get? I mean, like, holy shit, dude.
I'm horny just thinking about it.
Hell yeah. So we're gonna fucking kill her and her friends, and we're gonna keep moving on. I heard some news about Kirsten. She's gonna be home alone from 6 to 7. So we might kill her and drive over to Cassie's thing and scare the shit out of them and kill them one by fucking one. Hell yeah.
Why 1 by 1? Why can't it be a
2 by 2 and 3 by 3? Because we gotta keep it classy. So yeah,
Classy.
it's gonna be extra fun.
You're evil.
Yes, I am. So are you.
No,
We're
evil
both
is an expression of God. That was another test you failed.
Evil is not an expression of God.
Yes, it is.
Bullshit, you know it.
Evil, the origin, is a follower of fucking Satan.
There is no Satan.
Real? Then shut up.
Then how are we supposed to express ourselves?
Good and bad.
We're bad?
You're bad.
That sounds so shitty.
We're evil. That's not even shittier.
We're not, okay? They were sick psychopaths. Did not get pleasure of killing other people.
That sounds good, baby.
We're gonna go down in history. We're gonna be just like Scream, except real life terms.
That
We're gonna be
sounds good,
murderers.
baby.
Like, let's see, Ted Bundy. Like the Hillside Strangler.
No.
The Zodiac Killer.
Those people are more amateurs compared to what we're gonna be. We're gonna be more of higher sources of
Gene.
Gene.
Well, except for that sick and that twisted.
Oh, do you know what Gene's words were?
What?
Saw a girl walking down the street, right?
Yeah.
2 questions came to his head. I could take her out, have a nice time with her,
The killer.
and show her a
Get
good
her
time,
alive?
charm the pants off her, or I wonder what her head would look like on a stick.
Holy shit.
That's creepy,
Yes.
huh?
Holy shit. Murder is power. Murder is freedom. Goodbye.
I don't know.
The next evening on September 22nd, 2006, Cassie had plans to house sit and watch over the animals for her aunt and uncle, Allison and Frank Contreras. As some teenage girls tend to do in this situation, she had her boyfriend Matt come over to watch movies and keep her company. Later on, Brian and Torey also showed up, and they all decided to watch the movie Kill Bill Volume 2 together. After a bit, Brian and Torey changed their mind and said that they were going to catch a movie at a theater instead, leaving Cassie and Matt alone at the house, or so they thought. Reading from the 6th Judicial District of the state of Idaho court transcripts, this is exactly what happened on Cassie's final night alive. Bringing you these in-depth true crime investigations takes a lot of research and effort. To help us continue uncovering the truth behind these cases, and to ensure Beyond the Crime can reach a wider audience, please like this video, share it, and subscribe to our channel. Your support makes a real difference. On September 22, 2006, Brian and Torey went to the residence where Matt and Cassie were at on Whispering Cliffs. They visited with Matt and Cassie for a while and then left the residence. They got into Torey's vehicle, the red 1994 Geo, and drove down the street a short distance from the Whispering Cliffs residence. They pulled over and parked. They got out of the vehicle and proceeded to put costumes on that consisted of dark shirts, gloves, and masks. They each also grabbed a knife. They drove back and parked just to the east of the residence on Whispering Cliffs. They walked down the driveway to the residence on Whispering Cliffs, where Matt and Cassie were located, with their costumes on and knives in hand. They looked through the windows prior to entering the residence through the basement door on the south side. They walked around in the basement, making noise, trying to get Cassie and Matt to come down the stairs so they could scare them. They threw some objects on the floor in the basement, breaking them, in an attempt to get Cassie and Matt to come down the stairs. Brian and Torey found the panel box and turned the lights off in the residence. After a while, they turned the power back on. They heard Matt's mother arrive and pick up Matt. They then turned the power off again after Matt left with his mother and proceeded to walk upstairs. At the top of the stairs, Brian opens and slams a closet door in an attempt to scare Cassie. The Contreras dog came out to them and then ran back into the living room where Cassie was. They walked into the living room and Cassie was lying on the couch. She jumps to her feet and asks them who they are. Torey was in front of Brian, walking toward Cassie. Cassie says that she is going to kick their asses. Brian hears Cassie scream and then he sees Torey stab her several times. Cassie goes to the ground and he hears a snoring, gurgling sound. Torey turns to Brian and says, "I don't know what I have done. We have to kill her." Torey goes back to Cassie and stabs her several more times. Then they left the residence.
just killed Cassie. We just left her house. This is not a fucking joke.
I'm shaking.
I stabbed her in the throat and I saw her lifeless body just disappear. Dude, I just killed Cassie. Oh, fuck. That felt like fucking real. I mean, it went by so fast.
Shut the fuck up. We gotta get our act straight.
It's okay. Okay, let's buy movie tickets now.
Okay.
Come on.
They drive in Torey's car back to Torey's house, where they stayed for a while. They go into the garage of Torey's house and get a blue garbage sack and put the costumes and knives inside the sack. They grab a bottle of rubbing alcohol from Torey's house and throw the bag with the knives and costumes in the back of Torey's car. They leave Torey's residence and drive to a store to buy matches, and then they drive to the Black Rock Canyon area. They walk up a trail for a ways and then burn the bag with the costumes and the knives. Brian is not sure, but Torey then may have buried what remained after the fire. Torey had on high-top Converse tennis shoes and black jeans at the time Cassie is killed, but they do not burn those. The shirt, pants, and shoes that Brian was wearing at the time Cassie was killed were not burnt either. They then drove back to Torey's residence and watched a movie. Cassie's relatives returned home on September 24, 2006, 2 days after the murder, to find her deceased body on their living room floor, blood surrounding her. They immediately called 911 at 1:55 p.m. Cassie's autopsy revealed that she had been stabbed 29 times, 9 of which were fatal. In these situations, isn't the boyfriend always looked at first as a person of interest? Here is what Cassie's boyfriend, Matt, stated in his police interview on September 24, 2006. On Saturday, September 23, 2006, Matt tried contacting Cassie several times but was unable to reach her. He did not go check on Cassie because he did not have transportation to get back to the house where she was. His mother had the car at work. On September 23, 2006, at approximately 7 to 8 p.m., Torey came to Matt's house and picked him up, and he spent the night at Torey's house. While at Torey's house, he became worried about Cassie and asked Torey to take him to see her. Torey told him that he did not have enough gas in his car to drive out there. The gas that he had in his car had to last him the rest of the week, so Torey could not take him back to where Cassie was. He did not know about Cassie being murdered until Cassie's mother, Anna, called him on the telephone Sunday, September 24, 2006, and asked him what he had done to her daughter. Matt believed that both Brian and Torey had crushes on Cassie and at times would flirt with her. Brian and Torey are really into horror suspense-type movies, Matt said. Lieutenant John Gansky of the Idaho State Police conducted a voluntary interview with Torey on September 24, 2006, at his house with his parents, Shannon and Sean Adamcik, present. He stated that he did indeed go to Cassie's with Brian, but nobody else showed up for the party, so him and Brian decided to leave the couple alone and go to the movie theater instead. When pressed, however, he could provide no details of the movie he went to see or what it was about. He stated him and Brian went directly back to his house after the movie and spent the rest of the night there. The next day, September 25, 2006, Lieutenant Gansky conducted a voluntary interview with Brian, in which his mother, Pam Draper, was present. His statement was very similar to Torey's, in that they were at Cassie's and decided to leave and go see a movie at the theater instead. Brian also could not provide any details about the movie he supposedly just saw a couple days prior to this interview. Brian did say how shocked he was to hear about Cassie's death and couldn't believe that she was dead. Also, on September 25, 2006, Bannock County Detective Tom Foltz conducted an interview with a person who wishes to remain anonymous. This interview took place at Pocatello High School, and these are the statements from him or her from the court transcripts. Torey is obsessed with knives, guns, and horror films. Torey and his friend Brian are so obsessed with horror films that they are writing their own script for a horror movie. Torey and Brian's movie script is about a boy, girl, and a little boy getting killed. He or she has heard Cassie tell Torey that she wanted to be in his movie when he made it. Torey gave him or her the script about 2 months ago to read. Torey has told him or her that he loves killing movies like Scream and Friday the 13th. Torey has a knife collection that he keeps in the closet of his bedroom. Torey made a glove with knives on it, like in the movie Nightmare on Elm Street. He or she has heard Torey bragging about committing the perfect crime and how he watches killing movies and actually takes notes during the movie on how not to get caught when committing a murder. At school, Torey likes to mess around and pretend he is stabbing people and cutting their throats. Torey invited him or her to a party at the house Cassie was at Friday night, September 22, 2006. He or she did not go to that party. He or she knows that Torey has had a crush on Cassie for the last 2 to 3 years. 5 days after the murder, on September 27, 2006, Brian and Torey were arrested and charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. They were charged as adults, even though they were 16 years old. During the interrogations, Brian actually admitted to police that he was indeed present when Cassie was murdered, but that he had no part in it. He continued that he was under the impression that him and Torey were only going back to the house to scare Cassie. Brian eventually caved in and led the investigators to Black Rock Canyon, where him and Torey had buried the evidence. During separate trials, Brian was found guilty on April 17, 2007, and Torey was found guilty on June 8, 2007. On August 21, 2007, Brian and Torey each received a mandatory sentence of life in prison, without the possibility for parole and 30 years to life for being convicted of conspiracy to commit murder. They are both serving their time at Idaho State Correctional Institution. The city slowly moved on from the tragedy, although Cassie remains in the hearts of family, friends, and residents of Pocatello. Friends painted a mural in her honor in front of Pocatello High School when they found out she'd been murdered. Cassie is buried at Mountain View Cemetery, just 8 miles away from the home in which she lost her life. Cassie Jo Stoddard's murder remains a chilling reminder of senseless violence. We refuse to let it fade into obscurity. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to witness the raw truth, the unedited photos, the disturbing videos, and the locations forever marked by this tragedy. Confront the darkness with us. How did Cassie's story impact you? Share your perspective in the comments. We want to hear your voice.